Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing a fun holiday themed shaker card that features some brand new products from the Pinkfresh Studio August 2023 release. This is their holiday release and there are so many fabulous products in this release. I'm just showing you a few today, so if you want to check out the full release, there is a link in the YouTube description below so you can check that all out. Now, I'm going to use the Sparkle and Shine hot foil plate to add some hot foiling to my shaker window, and I'm also going to use the Snowflake backdrop to create a foiled design for inside the shaker as well. Now, I'm using the Essentials by Ellen plastic sheets for my shaker window and my foiling, but you can grab a heat-resistant acetate and do this same technique. So I've placed my plate onto my Glimmer platform. I've allowed the platform to heat up and then I've pressed the timer. When the timer is done, that bottom green light will turn solid. That means you're ready to foil. So then I can take the platform out of the base, take it over to my Platinum 6, and I'm going to add my foil with the pretty side facing the design of my hot foil plate. And then I've added my acetate on there just like I would my cardstock. And I am using the thin shim and the spacer pad that comes with the Glimmer hot foil system right on top of that, and then running that through my Platinum 6 machine. Now, when I take the foil off, I have this pattern that is left behind and it has all of these sparkly bits. I have put a little bit of tissue paper behind it so you could kind of see the design a little bit better, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And for all of my foiling today, I am using the Glimmer champagne foil. Now, I get asked a lot, can you foil with dyes? And the answer is yes. And this here is the Snowflake background. It is actually a cutting die. And I am going to foil on some white cardstock. This is the Concord and Ninth white cardstock. I'm going to use the same exact sandwich that I do for foiling with my hot foil plates. But this time you're going to see that I just get foil in the very delicate cut lines of the die itself. So while you can foil with a standard die, you're just going to get a very delicate foiled pattern, unlike the foil plates that are designed with a little more width and kind of area to the actual pattern so that you get more foil left behind. But I'm going to stack these up to create kind of this snowy winter wonderland shaker card. Now, these large snowflake dies were a part of last year's Pinkfresh Studio Create and Connect holiday event, but now they are a part of the Pinkfresh Studio line. And so I'm going to use the largest of these 3 snowflakes and I'm going to die cut it from some white glitter cardstock. This happens to be from Concord and Ninth. And when I'm die cutting this glitter cardstock, I do like to make sure that my metal shim is in my cutting sandwich for my Empress machine. I'm using the Anna Griffin Empress machine. And I like to cut into the plastic or the clear plastic cutting plate. Now, sometimes when I'm using my Anna Griffin Empress, like this case here, when I'm cutting just a standard cardstock and I want to hold things in place, I will actually cut right into the magnetic mat. Now, I've been doing this for a while and I have no problems with it. Yes, you will have to replace it every once in a while, but I find that I get great results when I'm die cutting with standard cardstock into that magnetic mat, and that magnetic mat really helps me to kind of keep my dies in place. So now that I have a lot of my elements ready to go, I'm going to start trimming down the foiled backgrounds that I created so that I can stack them up behind that frame that I created with the Pinkfresh Studio diagonals, stitch diagonal rectangles. That's what I used to create that little frame out of sea glass cardstock there. And this piece here that I have foiled with the snowflake background is going to be the background of my shaker window. And where I'm going to place that glitter cardstock snowflake, I wanted there to be kind of like a light glow behind it. So I just took some Pinkfresh Studio mint ink and added just that little bit of glow. You can see it there to my left-hand side now to just bring some color behind that area. Now I'm using some liquid glue to adhere my frame onto the foiled acetate that I created. And I'm gonna kind of hold this in place using an acrylic block just for a bit so that that liquid glue can set up. And before this sets up completely, I'm going to slip this large glitter snowflake underneath the frame so that it's adhered to kind of that lower right-hand bottom third of this card front. I don't know why I feel like I have to put so many words into sentences sometimes. And then what I've done is I've just kind of lifted up the edges and added some liquid glue under that snowflake to hold it in place. Now, because I do have such a small frame or a narrow frame around the shaker window, I need some narrow foam adhesive to place around the back side of the shaker frame so that I can add some depth to this window and allow my little bits inside of my shaker window to shake around. So I've been using these scrapbook.com foam adhesive strips, and I find they're perfect for things like this. So I'm going to add a frame of foam adhesive on the back side of that frame there. This is giving me all the depth I need for all of my shaker bits to kind of shake around. And I am using some droplets from Pinkfresh Studio, so I did need that extra depth. And I did add a double layer of that foam adhesive to the back of the frame. Now here's a look at the other snowflakes that are included in that large snowflake die set. I have several of them cut because I taught a class using these large snowflakes last year for Pinkfresh Studio's Create and Connect event. So I have a bunch left over and I just keep them stored in with the dies themselves so that anytime I go to create with this, I know that I have some pre-cut. Now, I didn't actually use the sentiments that I'm stamping and heat embossing here, but I did want to leave this in the video because these are from the Holiday Large Sentiments Stamp and Coordinating Die Set that's new from Pinkfresh Studio, and I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I'm just stamping them in some Versamark embossing ink, adding some gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, and then heat setting that. And then I can use the coordinating dies to die cut those out. So I have those pre-made, and I decided instead to use this brand new Basic Banners Christmas edition from Pinkfresh Studio. These are a bunch of holiday sentiments that coordinate with the previously released Basic Banner die. So you're going to see this in action. I'm placing some vellum into my Rose Quartz Misty. Now this Misty is coming soon from scrapbook.com. I'm going to link it below. It's not quite in yet, but they let me have one a little bit early, and I love the Rose Quartz color. And I love the Misty stamping tool too. So now I have a bunch of colors in my Misty stamping tool. And I'm gonna go ahead and prep the surface of my vellum with a powder tool, ink up that large one-piece stamp with my Versamark ink, which is what I use to do all of my embossing. And then I am going to stamp that down onto the vellum. I'm just using my stamp press tool from Pinkfresh Studio to make sure I get plenty of pressure all over that large one-piece stamp. Then I can remove the vellum from my Misty stamping tool, take it over, sprinkle on the gilded embossing powder from Brutus Monroe, and shake off the excess. And once I have all of those stamped sentiments coated with embossing powder, I'm going to heat set that, and I'm going to be able to die cut all of these banner shaped sentiments at once, which I think is so much fun. Now, if you've not seen the basic banners from Pinkfresh Studio before, it is a series of stamps that coordinate with the basic banners die that you see here. This is a one-piece die that cuts all of these banners all at once. And there are several kind of iterations or themes for these banner sentiments that you can get that coordinate with this single die. So I absolutely love this idea. And I've always been a sucker for banners on my cards. So, you know, when it comes to holiday and banners, I'm here for it. So I've gone ahead and run that through my Anna Griffin Empress machine to die cut all of the sentiments all at once. And now I have a bunch of sentiments ready to go. Now I'm not going to use all of these on today's card, but I am sharing a video tutorial tomorrow, and I'm going to use another one of these basic banners Christmas on that card tomorrow. Now, another cool thing you can do with that basic banners die is just die cut it from some colored cardstock, and they make for great embellishments on cards as well. I'm going to actually stack them up today to just kind of add a little something something. And then I'm going to go ahead and start filling this area for my shaker card. So I'm using some droplets from Pinkfresh Studio, and I am taking the time to make sure that I flip them all over to where they're face up. Now the droplets are kind of they have a little bit higher loft than other things that you might use in a shaker card. So that's why I made sure I had 2 layers of foam adhesive behind my frame. I also mixed in some sparkling clear confetti and some sparkling clear snowflakes, so I have a nice little mix there. And then I placed my frame right over that background that I hot foiled where all of my shaker bits are. And now I have all of my shaker guts sealed up inside of my shaker window. So now it's time to kind of fill in and embellish. And what I've done is I've taken that basic banners die and I've die cut it from some lipstick red cardstock. No, this is Cherry Kisses cardstock from the stamp market. And I've kind of layered up the vellum piece with the sea glass piece and this Cherry Kisses piece to kind of give a little pop of color. Now I'm going to end up changing this in the end. Yes, I do change my mind every now and then. I love this color combination for the holidays, but it wasn't quite like singing. My heart wasn't singing yet. So I'm going to put my sentiments on hold and I'm just going to work on some other things. So I layered up a plain white die cut of that large snowflake behind the glitter snowflake. And then I'm trimming down some of the 2 smaller snowflake designs and kind of placing them in and around the card. I have some that are in vellum and some that are in white cardstock. And then I've embellished the front of the card with those droplets as well. And I'm using my Pinkfresh Studio dual tip embellishment tool to place those onto my card front. And I was really struggling. You're going to see me kind of pull in different colors of cardstock here. I have the Cherry Kisses and I was like, I like it, but I don't know. I don't love it. And then I pulled out this salmon cardstock from the stamp market and I was like, that is it. I needed that salmon color instead of the red color. So I just replaced those red banners with the salmon banners and then my heart sang. And I knew I was done with this card. I placed it on a top folding A2 size white card base. So this measures 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And that finishes off my fun and sparkly holiday shaker card featuring some brand new products from Pinkfresh Studio. I absolutely love this combination. It just feels so ethereal and wintry to me. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, a complete list of supplies, as well as some information on a blog hop that's happening today to celebrate this fabulous new release from Pinkfresh Studio, and I hope you'll join me over there. As always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. And let me know in the comments below if you are a shaker card person or not. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.